Well, I hope you guys had an awesome Thanksgiving weekend. It's your boy Jason here, and in today's video, man, do I have a doozy. This is about about creating your own reality and using these particular words to help guarantee your success to your business. Don't go anywhere. You got to take notes on this one. Let's go. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the power of your words and why it's important to know what you're saying and being able to speak your reality into existence. Now, again, this is one of those mindset training videos that I feel is more powerful than understanding what any technical aspect of making money is about. I know you find the concepts of business making more enticing because you think that if you just get the building blocks, you can just do it. But the building blocks set on murky waters, or a not stable foundation, is set to fail. It's just the reality of it. And I know too many people that they skip ahead to the things that sound good because it tickles their ears. It sounds like what they want to know. But you give them all the education in the world. You tell them, okay, this is how you build a business step by step. And they do absolutely nothing with it. Nothing. And I've seen it happen. It's so common. That's the reason why so many people are looking up stuff like this, because they don't realize that, the limiter is within themselves. It's not so much what they're learning, because, people will complain, well, why is it working for them and not for me? Truth of the matter is that it can work for anyone. It's just a tool. If I hand you a screwdriver and I say, go screw in that screw into the wall, any idiot can do it. But if you have this hang up, if you overanalyze it, if you question it, you may think, well, maybe I don't know how to do this. Maybe I have to screw it in by going counterclockwise instead of, no, you need to go clockwise to tighten the screw. So today we're talking about your words, the power of yes, and how this is a defining factor for your success. Again, the mindset stuff that I'm teaching in this video, this is where, the gurus charge the 15 grand for one day with them, the $30,000 for one day with them. This is what the wise people on top of the mountain, that people all over try to trek through, the wilderness and all that, climbing that mountain to find that wise old guy on the top, just to hear them say this stuff. This is that gold right here. So you need to understand and you need to take notes, because this is what it's about. So, just so you know, a little bit of a preface here. I myself am a Christian, and, I love everyone. So, if you're not a Christian, okay, cool. It doesn't, it is what it is. But the reason why I bring that up is because I'm also a believer in being true to yourself, and I can only be true to who I am. And I'm not going to pretend to be somebody that I'm not, just to, gain fans. If you have some weird hatred towards Christians, well, I feel sorry for you, first of all. I'm not going to try to force my beliefs upon you. That's not what this channel is about. But I will tell you that a lot of my teachings, especially the mindset stuff, it comes from Christian principles. And even non-Christians recognize Christian principles. If you look at T. Harv Eker's book, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, there's some really good precepts in there that T. Harv Eker, although he seems to hint at being agnostic, he gets a few key ideas from a Christian author. And it's pretty interesting when you look into the book, and there's several others like that. But the point is that I bring this up to say that there's a concept in the Bible, there's a concept in our Christian faith, our beliefs that talk about the power of your words. There's a scripture that says the power of life and death are on the tongue. That's cited from one of the scriptures in the Bible. The power of life and death are on the tongue. And essentially what that means is the words you say ultimately defines your reality. Now, what is a reality? Some people think that the reality is the absolute truth. Now, I'm a believer that there is only one truth. Truth is truth. Otherwise, if there was more than one way of telling the truth, then it wouldn't be the truth. The truth is absolute. There is only one way to establish the truth. Everything else is false. That's just the pure definition of it. However, that doesn't lend itself to reality. Reality is perceived. And I think that's what a lot of people think. Well, truth is relative. They say that, but they're misappropriating and they're misdefining. It's not the correct definition. When they say that truth is relative, what they are really saying is that their reality is perceived differently than someone else's. So to redefine, truth is absolute. There is only one truth. You can't have multiple versions of that one truth. Otherwise, it would not be truth. It would be false. It would be a lie. It would be deceit. And deceit can come in the appearance of a truth. It could be so close to the truth and is only off by a degree. And while 99.9% of it appears and has that allure of the truth, it is not, because of the fact that it's just 1 degree off, just a hair away from the truth. And that in itself makes it untrue. Hopefully that makes sense. But so there's only one way to establish a truth, but there are multiple realities. Reality is something that you can perceive. It's something that's conscionable. And so my reality will be very similar to many people's realities, but it is not dependent on how other people perceive it. It's only dependent on how I perceive it. And to add more weight to that, my reality is based on how I define certain things and how I define perceptions of, certain lifestyles and certain cultures. But I can't perceive the reality of someone else that's born in a different state, country, someone who comes from a completely different culture. Their perception of reality is obviously influenced by their surroundings, whereas mine is influenced by mine. And the good part is that you can actually redefine your reality. So in this case of, someone who comes from nothing, someone who, grew up in a struggling home, maybe was out on the streets, and, just a long string of bad luck. They, if they're in a situation where they decide for themselves, you know what? I'm not going to let this define me anymore. This has been my reality since I was little because of the circumstances of my life. But I'm going to redefine my reality by, changing my perception, changing what my thoughts are. And instead of being doomed to be poor, as was my upbringing, I'm actually going to change it around and become very wealthy. And so you see people who, flip their lives around. Tyler Perry being one person. Tyler Perry, someone who dreamed of being a screenplay writer, and he was, pretty much broke and homeless. And in fact, the first few plays that he did, including what was it? Of course, I forget the name of it. I like his stuff, and his Meet the Pains. House of Pain, yeah. House of Pain, I think, was the first one that he did on Broadway. Well, not on Broadway, but it was a stage show, and a stage live show. And he put a lot of effort into it, and it turned out that hardly anybody showed up. It was a complete flop. And a few others that he tried to put out, and they were all flops, every single one of them, which obviously, discouraged him quite a bit. But again, he was homeless, he was poor, And that could have been his defined reality. Is that, well, I guess I'm just not meant for this. It obviously is not working out. I guess this is just the way it is. He could have set that as his reality, but he fought against it. He redefined his reality. And as you can see, everybody knows who Tyler Perry is. Everybody's heard of House of Pain, most of us anyway. And of course, Medea and all those other ones. Now, he's just one example. There's Steve Harvey. There's that guy with the golden voice. I forget his name. And there's just so many people out there. So many that they were out in the streets, or they're just Jim Carrey is another one. I love Jim Carrey's story because he wrote a check to his dad for, I think it was $1 million. I could be wrong. And this was when he was poor. This was when nobody knew who he was. And this was when he was hitting every comedy club he could, trying to act in every place he could, and just getting rejected all the time. And he wrote a $1 million check, or a blank check or something. I can't remember which. And he said that, and he slipped it as a bookmark in one of his books. And he said, I'm going to cash this after I make it big. Or I think that's pretty much what happened. So he said in a year, I will cash this check. I believe that's what it was. And so in a year's time, he had gotten on Saturday Night Live, and he became a regular on the show, and he was making millions. And so he was finally able to write that check for his dad. So, and then we all know who Jimmy Carrey is. So, it's a pretty done deal. So my point is that these are people that they grew up with a set reality based on what was around them. Their perception of what was around them was what defined what their reality was. Because we reflect on our surroundings. We reflect on what we see, touch, feel, all that stuff. We reflect on that. So, if I'm here, I can't physically see myself in a mansion, right? I'm not in a mansion right now, but I can't see myself in a mansion with, 2 hot sports cars and all that stuff, and a swimming pool with gold tiles and all that stuff, right? I can't. That's not my reality because I can't perceive it. I can't see it. I can't touch it. However, if that is my goal, it's not really my goal, but if that is my goal, I will instead, despite this being my perception, despite this being my surroundings and my culture and all that, I will instead redefine it by thinking, you know what? Yeah, this may be what's here now, but I am setting my reality based on my goal and that I'm going to achieve in the future. So I may not have it now, and there may be no evidence that I ever will, but my mind has declared that it is mine, that I am going to have it, that I'm going to see it, that it is going to be as real to me as what I see and feel now is real to me. Does that make sense? So I've redefined my reality, and I've made it into what I cannot yet perceive, but I've convinced myself that I can perceive it, that I can see it. Like in my mind's eye, I can see it. I can almost feel it. You know that phrase that they say, I can almost taste it. Well, that's what it is. And getting back to the scripture, it says, the power of life and death are on the tongue. And the reason why that is so important is because there's so many people that whenever life doesn't go their way, they will just sulk. They would just get depressed. They would just say, you know what? I guess this is how it's meant to be. I guess I wasn't made for showbiz. I guess I wasn't made to live in that mansion somewhere. This is what people say. And when they say that, they are damaging themselves. They are hurting themselves. They are setting their reality. They are giving in. They are giving up. Even if later they say, I'll give it another try. They still have to get over the unbelief that they set for themselves by saying what they said previously. If you're the type of person that never says those negative things, then you're not setting up roadblocks to have to overcome. See, this is why people say that you are your own worst enemy, because the words that come out of your mouth can hinder you much greater than what anyone else says. You know, these phenomenal people who became celebrities, who became multimillionaires, they had tons of critics laughing at them. Oftentimes, a lot of these critics are their own personal friends and family. These are people that you would think they could trust most of all. And yet, those are the ones that are laughing at them, that are criticizing them, that are saying you'll never get out of the hood. You'll never be any greater than what you are now. You're meant to live a normal life. Guys like us, girls like us, we don't make it to the big time. That's just not for us. You know, those thoughts come from people. And while they may be what people all around you are saying, none of that is as damaging as when it comes from yourself. When it comes from yourself, you are setting up a wall that if you do decide to try again the next day, you have to somehow knock that wall down. And that requires twice the effort. It requires twice the effort to first knock down that wall and then try to go. And then by the time you're trying to go, you're already tired from trying to knock down that wall. You've already exhausted yourself because you had to overcome that first level of disbelief. Now imagine if you do that every day. Imagine if you keep going down on yourself and setting up those disappointing thoughts and verbalizing those things. If you keep doing that over and over, you got several walls ahead of you. And imagine how much you're going to exhaust from yourself by having to overcome all of those levels of disbelief just to try to give yourself another chance to make it for yourself. Instead, you speak life. Instead, you speak positivity. While the world and those closest to you may say that you are not meant for this or anything else, you are the one that is setting a candle, creating a light within you in the midst of the darkness. So when you hold that light close to you and when you are letting it illuminate and glow and burn brightly inside of yourself, no matter what everyone else says, you still have that light inside of you. You keep that going. And so, it's vital that you understand that this here is what's going to take you to the goals that you are setting for yourself. Because again, life and death are on the tongue. If you speak life to your dream, to your reality, if you create and establish your new desired reality and you don't speak down on it, then there will be a lot less friction and you will be able to attain it much easier. Now, it's still possible for you to attain your goal if you're speaking death, if you're speaking negative, if you're setting up those walls. You can absolutely still make it. Don't get me wrong. You can make it, but it's a lot harder. Why go through that? Why exhaust unnecessary effort when you can just, first of all, set the tone in your mind and in your heart? When, first of all, you can just create that reality, that environment that it's not even a doubt in your mind that you're going to succeed. It's not a doubt in your mind at all that you are going to win this, because you're speaking so much encouragement to yourself. Doesn't matter if no one else does. What matters is that you do. And if you speak life to yourself, then I guarantee you, as long as you have, everything else that follows, the technical stuff, the blueprint, the outline, the dream board, the vision board, if you have that vivid vision written out, if you have that game plan, those goals laid out, and you commit to it and you take action towards it, combine that with the reality that you set for yourself, there is no doubt in my mind that you are guaranteed to reach that goal. If you have that in line, it's a virtual impossibility that you would fail. It is virtually impossible for you to fail. Impossible. But you have to remember that you can have all the tools, but if it's built on a messed up foundation, aka you're telling yourself bad thoughts and all that, you could set up that business and all that, it's gonna fall. But if you set it up on strong foundation, again, another principle from the Bible that we talk about in the Bible, if you set it on a firm foundation, everything you build on top of it is going to stand. So make sure that you take captive of the things that you say and the thoughts that you think, and know that you are worthy, that you're worth it, and don't doubt yourself, not even for a minute. You are the one to create your established reality. Speak positive and then follow suit with everything else. You're guaranteed to hit the bullseye every time. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Tell the YouTube algorithm that you enjoy the content coming from this channel. Also, click that subscribe button and click the bell notification so you can be updated on future videos. And last but not least, if you want to know how I'm able to earn an income from doing affiliate marketing and you want me to guide you through that using a business in a box platform that's already set up, and all you have to do is just follow some simple steps. Click that link in the description box below and I'll be happy to guide you the whole way, the whole process, and the whole way there. All right, so I'll see you guys next time. It's your boy Jason. Much love, God bless, and as always, peace.
I should make money for free. Yeah, that's how money works. Money for free. If I ain't got a boss, then it's not a legal way to make money. You gotta know that's true, right? You gotta have a boss that, okay. The only way to make money is by spending a crazy amount of time. If I'm not like slave or nothing like that, okay. But, okay, here we go. Nobody makes money from home. This COVID thing is just a fluke. We're gonna be in office again and, if you seriously want to help me, you should just give me money. That's how you can show me.